Good morning. Today we will be discussing the autobiography of Pope Francis, titled Hope. So, first of all, let's say that I am not personally a Catholic, I am Muslim, yet I have a deep respect for the Pope and the Church. While I don't adhere to their interpretation of God, I still sometimes listen and take note of their prayers, the Bible, and their spiritual understanding. I hope in this video to introduce Pope Francis's life and provide an obituary for him at the end of his reign as Pope and at his death. This book is a review of his own autobiography, which he has himself written. While I usually don't like reading autobiographies, as they could be biased and filled with one's own self-interests, many surmise that autobiographies are self-centered and do not thus pose a real portrait of the individual in question. In this case, I have made an exception for the late Pope, as he does seem genuine and unbiased in his writings. This book starts before Francis was born, when his family moved from Italy after the First World War to Argentina in search for opportunity. Before Pope Francis was born, when his family moved to Italy, his parents and grandparents were poor and at most middle class. Thus, Francis did not have much growing up and focused much of his time on his studies. He tells here much more about his family life than his priestly duties. In the end of this chapter of the book, he has to decide whether becoming a doctor was the best option for him, or pursuing the life as a priest was a better career. He thus decides on becoming a priest, much to his family's dismay. The young Francis attends college, majoring in philosophy, and thus is ordained as a priest. This book does not discuss much of his career as a priest, but jumps to when he is named Pope. It tells here much more about his papal duties and travels where he begs for peace. Now here I want to note that I don't like the idea of begging for peace, as he kisses people's feet and hands as a gesture to plead for peace. I find this appalling and not at all worth the effort made. It is more humiliating than helpful to kiss people's hands and feet. This story is one of change to better circumstances, of hope to a better future, of service to humanity, where people's lives are blessed and made better by Francis, whether as a priest or as Pope. I wholeheartedly recommend the short read Hope by Pope Francis for anyone interested in such a public figure, their life and their impact on the world. I wholeheartedly recommend this short read for anyone interested in such a public figure. And I would like to recommend this book further for anyone who is interested in Catholicism or religious texts. Now, let's discuss this book further. What I like about this book is that it's a short, concise read, and it's quite enjoyable to read through. However, what I don't like is that it's quite shallow. It's not very deep and not very well written. His writing could be better. His speech could be better. Yet Pope Francis chooses to be shallow and quite uninterested in the priestly aspects of his life. He more tells the story of his own family than his career as a priest and his career as Pope. Furthermore, Pope Francis here does not tell much about his life before becoming Pope and after he becomes a priest, meaning he does not tell much about his career as a priest and about his priestly duties, yet he does not further discuss this issue. Now, thank you for listening, and I would like to recommend this book further for anyone who is interested in this topic.